Yo, man, if this was a radio show, I would have actually back announced a beautiful song from Lebo Matosa with a single titled Brand New Day, because it kind of does represent what this show is about, vandaag, right? And I would also let you know that you are listening to the O Show right now. And speaking of the O Show, I'd like to say peace to the leaders, achievers, believers, and future seers. It is called the O Show. It's basically short for the Override Show or the Offensive Show, depending on which kind of O you are receiving today. And like I said, my name is the Override, the man who definitely does control the hype. It is the first episode and all that stuff, man. I'd like to welcome you to the platform. We're going to be talking everything but hip-hop, because now a lot of people do know me as someone who is a hip-hop person, and all I talk about is hip-hop and all that stuff. But then at the same time, I am a media practitioner, and I'm a radio person, I'm a broadcaster and all that stuff, right? And also a content producer and all that stuff. So now I just wanted to tap into those different elements or different sides of me and all that, just so that you can get a deeper perspective to what I bring to the table with regards to the media space, as well as presenting, as well as producing. This is a show where we're going to be talking about a lot of things, from hustle to relationships to family to spiritual stuff, man. It's going to be a jam-packed show, and it's basically targeted to like a whole lot of young people, because now a lot of young people today are out here and we have a lot to say, but then it's almost like we need topics to actually unpack. So now this is the kind of show for that, just so that we can actually keeps it moving as society as a whole. Like I said, it is the first show. Speaking of number one, we need to just imagine the number one as a fresh start, a blank canvas. And also in numerology, the number one basically does represent this whole thing of new beginnings, independence, and basically being your own boss. So now the people that carry that whole number one energy is they basically are go-getters, they are trailblazers in terms of their thought patterns and all that. They are innovators and are total originals. So now, since it is our first show today, ladies and gentlemen, let's carry that energy, let's tap into that energy so that we can tackle the day. You know what I'm saying? It is the 4th of June, vandaag, and if it is your birthday today, happy birthday, Gemini. So now, what you can basically expect on today's show. So we have a feature called Riddle Me This. It's basically a feature where we test how far your mind can go, right? And then we have a feature called Trend Set. So now this is basically us unpacking the biggest stories that have taken place in South Africa, whether it's sports, whether it's politics, whether it's just general things that are taking place in society that affect us all. We're going to be talking about that. And then I'm also going to be bringing you a feature called Drop a Topic. And this is basically us dropping a topic based on today's theme. So now today's theme, it is Wednesday, so we are talking all things spirituality, and so we are still building the show, ladies and gentlemen. So now I do have these ideas, I do have these concepts, but for now I was just looking at getting the hitting the ground running, so to speak, you know what I mean? So it is the O Show. You can follow us across all social media platforms, and as soon as I'm done recording this, I am gonna set up the Spotify link and all that stuff. Now you're gonna get it on Spotify, you're gonna get this whole thing on YouTube as well, you're gonna get it on TikTok, you're gonna get it on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. It is the O Show. My name is the Overwrite as well, and for the older people who holo as well, so now you can follow me across all social media platforms. But for now, stay tuned for Riddle Me This. Yeah, so welcome back to the O Show, and like I said, it is the number one upcoming podcast in the streets. My name is the Overrides, the man who definitely does control the hype. It is about that time for our feature. As I said before, it is called Riddle Me This. So now, because we have a jam-packed show every single day, I just thought I'd actually just give you a young brain teaser that I'm going to be giving you an answer to straight after the show and all that, man. So this is how it goes, man. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? So now I do have 4 options for you. It is it A, a shadow? Is it B, an echo? Is it C, a dream? Or is it D, a whisper? So now I'm going to say it one more time, and please be sure to send your comments there in the comment section below, and I am going to be sharing the answer with you. So I want to spit it one more time for you, and just let me know what you think now. So now it goes like this. I speak without a mouth and I hear without ears. I have no body, but I do come alive with the wind. What am I? Is it A, a shadow? Is it B, an echo? Is it C, a dream? Or is it D, a whisper? I am going to be sharing the answer with you towards the end of the show. And I'm also just like giving you a young riddle to think about, just to also keep you engaged. So yeah, do stay tuned for the answer towards the end of the show. Nah? But for now, stay tuned for Trend Set, where we're going to be sharing the biggest stories. Hanamoko Mzanzi. Yeah, so welcome back to the O Show. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like, subscribe, and also share these videos, man. Let them know that a real nigga's out here, and basically talking about things that do affect us as South Africans. So now one of the biggest stories that I did see right now, vandag now, was that whole situation with Floyd Shivambu. He's basically been removed as Secretary General of the MK Party due to an unauthorized trip to Malawi, where he met with the fugitive pastor Bushiri, right? So now the party says the move did violate the constitution, and Mr. Floyd defected from the EFF to the MK in 2024 and will still serve as an MK member of parliament despite the whole demotion. So now he hasn't been removed from the party, he has just been demoted due to that whole situation where he basically visited Bushiri, who is a fugitive in South Africa, right? So now one of the things that I want to talk about with regards to the story is this whole thing of why he had to meet the fugitive, because now this whole thing of Mr. Floyd meeting Bushiri, who is basically a man who is wanted in South Africa, raises a serious ethical and legal question, right? Is the MK party basically turning a blind eye to like criminal associations? And also this whole thing of the power play principle, right? So now, was Mr. Floyd's removal truly about constitutional violations, or is it just a political purge marked as discipline? Right, so now it's also a thing of like the MK's party's like identity crisis. So now in my perspective, right, so now this incident basically exposes a struggling party, or a party that's basically struggling to define its leadership's culture and disciplinary boundaries in like real time. Because now on the one side they do preach, yeah man, we do stand for ABC, but now when things basically happen with their leadership, instead of removing them from the party, they actually demote them, right? Even though it's quite clear that Mr. Floyd is associated with someone who is a fugitive in South Africa. So it's quite interesting when analyzing this from an inside-out perspective, and also just as a general South African. Yeah, so now another piece of news that actually got me was this whole thing of Maphuma. He's basically in trouble again, and he's basically facing backlash after failing to appear at a major National Children's Day festival in Mozambique, right? So now there he was scheduled to perform. So instead he reportedly attended a gathering, right? So now later on, video also surfaced on social media of him actually being held down in themselves, right? Allegedly due to contractual obligations requiring artists to refund fees for missed performances. So now this incident has also intensified the criticism of his professionalism and commitment to the fans. Oh yeah, and one last story. So it turns out that Bill Gates has dropped another project, right? So now new COVID-19 variant NB1 A1.8.1 is causing a global concern, especially in China, where it seems to dominate current cases. So the COVID virus is back, ladies and gentlemen, and apparently it's not the same as the one we had before. So it's not as lethal, but it still does have some kind of side effects like sore throat, fever, and all that stuff, right? And according to these guys, they're looking to push the vaccine again, right? Welcome. Yeah, so welcome back to the O Show. My name is The Override, the man who definitely does control the hype. It is about that time for Drop a Topic, where we basically unpack a topic based on today's themes, right? So now today's theme, we are talking all things spirituality because it is a Wednesday and it is the middle of the week, and most times we need to also just find our most times we need to find a way to like realign ourselves so that we can complete the week on a high note. So now that's just basically the idea behind the theme of spirituality on a Wednesday, right? So now this is basically a space where silence speaks and the soul basically finally gets to breathe, right? So now today I'm not really going to be motivating you to try to work harder. I'm just going to be asking you something deeper, right? So I'm going to be asking if you are aligned or just busy, because being productive doesn't necessarily mean that you are always walking on purpose. And if you've ever felt like doing everything and all that, yet something is missing, this is a segment for you today, right? So now let's just keep it 100, right? So now we are living in a culture that glorifies the hustle. So now if you're not grinding 24/7, you are perceived by everybody else as someone that is lazy, right? But now when talking about the truth, you can still be booked, right? And broken. Sometimes we have this whole perception of being booked and busy, but now when you look at the deeper situation, man, we are booked but broken, because now a lot of us are operating in autopilot, right? And we are caught in we always call it the rat race, we call it in the matrix and all that, always hustling, bustling for the next paycheck and all that, right? Without necessarily being fulfilled within. And sometimes we get too busy, in the work, in the life and all that, in groove, in whatever we are caught up in, and we don't really stop and think and ask ourselves if we are truly fulfilled. You know what I mean? So now sometimes we may be completely out of alignment because of the fast pace, especially with regards to the city life, social media, man, how fast we are consuming information and all that. You know what I mean? So now we just need to find a way to actually get back to who we truly are and understand why we are where we are and why we are placed to actually be where we at. So we just need to ask ourselves if we are chasing our calling or if we are just avoiding silence, because now that silence at times can be really deafening, right? That silence can be uncomfortable, and that silence does force us to like confront things within ourselves. So a lot of the times we find ourselves distracted. Lately, lately these days, I find myself scrolling endlessly on TikTok. Next thing you know, it's been like a good 30 minutes of just scrolling and consuming information in little snippets, and that whole dopamine does create this whole addiction to social media and all that, right? So now sometimes that silence inside, man, it's like a voice that says, yo, you're tired and all that. So now, when talking about real alignment, right? Real alignment does indeed feel different. Real alignment doesn't mean that you don't work. It means that your work flows from like a deeper place. You're not necessarily forcing it, you're not faking it, you're not performing it for approval. A lot of us, we find ourselves actually doing things for those likes. We do those things for approval. We go to those places just to be seen by certain individuals, and that tends to like drain us, you know what I'm saying? And I've been there myself, you know what I mean? I found myself trying to be in these spaces in order to be recognized as one of those niggas and all that. And you just tend to realize that all of this, like, you ask yourself, like, what's the point in all of this? Is this actually fulfilling my spirit? These interactions with these individuals, is there some kind of growth from it? Like, it is nice to go out to places and watch and observe and take in the moment from a present moment point of view, right? But at the same time, are we really supposed to be there? With all the things that we are doing that aren't like with all the things that we are doing that aren't like aligned to our purpose, like, we need to just ask ourselves, man, like, how much more time are we gonna waste? Because now it sucks. It honestly does suck, having to go to sleep knowing that you slept on yourself again. So as hustlers, as young people, as South Africans, we need to just ask ourselves those important questions in those moments of silence, and also just create time to be silent, time to be alone, time to realign, and time to ask yourselves those important questions, and also just ask yourselves, why do we do the things we do? Like, why is scrolling now a sudden addiction? Why is going out to groove, alcoholism, why is that a sudden addiction? What are we truly running away from as everyday South Africans? So that's just basically my parting words with regards to that. Yeah, and that does conclude today's episode of the O Show. It was quite fun, and the more I'm working on this platform, right, the more I'm doing this, the more I'm shooting, I'm also just seeing what I need. Been operating off the laptop over here, but I'm realizing that it's actually better to have eye contact. So yeah, we'll just work more on getting a teleprompter for y'all and all that, man. And yeah, man, I had fun. I hope you had fun. I hope there's a young something that you took from this. I hope that it's something that you do enjoy. This is something that I am looking to like work on every single day. Yeah, I come from a broadcasting background, and when you're not producing radio, you tend to, I don't know, what can I say? Like, you tend to get rusty, or you tend to get disconnected with what's going on in the world around you. So I just thought that to train my radio brain to keep it busy, I'll just give you a show that I could just drop every single day. I love producing, I love radio, I love content, I love having an opinion, I love the youth, I love artists, I have a passion for a whole lot more, so I named this show the O Show because of that, so as much as I've been seen and perceived as someone who is pushing the hip-hop space, pushing artists, giving them a platform and all that, I found it really important for myself to just tap back into that space, and use the same mind to navigate everyday South African things. It's not just me that has an opinion, it's not just me that has the skill, and I'm inspired by a lot of like YouTubers, content creators that have pushed boundaries and have made this whole thing lucrative. They're able to support themselves and their families, and it's crazy crazy I'm even saying that, because now I come from a time where this content creation wasn't even called content creation. Like, we didn't have a name for it, we were just doing it, you know. And to see where it's at right now, I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad that you're a part of my journey as well. So see you on the next episode. That was another edition of the O Show. My name is The Overwrite, the man who definitely does control the hype. Make sure you follow us across all social media platforms. It is the O Show. And yeah, man, let's do the most, man. Till next time. Awe.